Hello, everyone. We are live, hopefully, on all 5 channels. Hey, are you guys wishing that you could have J-Lo or one of the Kardashians to be your brand influencer? Wouldn't that be awesome? Most of us are not in that position to get them to be one of our brand influencers. But you know what? Don't worry. There's another type of influencer that might be perfect for you, and they're called micro influencers. And you know what? I think I might be one, and you might be one too. And we're going to dive into that topic with my special guests today, Caitlin and Amy of Simple Social Media. Welcome to Bite Size Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Mary Fain Brandt, and I'm here today talking about micro influencers and how we can understand what they are and what they can do for our businesses. But you guys know, before we get started, I want to know where you're watching from and what industry you're in. And I want to see some comments on this broadcast. And the reason for that, you guys, I genuinely want to know who's in my audience and who I might be able to collaborate with. It's by commenting on different posts and videos that I've actually I want to say nurtured some relationships and found some amazing people to be guests on my show. So maybe you might be a guest on my show in 2020. So drop a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from and what type of business you're in, or if you're a job seeker, what are you looking to, where are you looking to land? So you guys, in this episode, like I said, Amy and Caitlin, they're going to be sharing with us how to identify, work with, and determine the ROI, return on investment, on campaigns centered around micro influencers. So welcome, Caitlin and Amy. So Caitlin's on, I don't know which way it shows. Yeah, that's Caitlin. Amy, go ahead. You wave. Okay, there we go. I'm not good with a reverse thing and
no, right.
It's really looking like. So you guys,
small. That's how a lot of people distinguish that.
Got it. So before we dive into this hot topic that you all need to be watching, I always like to share how my guests and I have met. So no surprise, we met online and then at Social Media Marketing World this year. So it was Caitlin. We knew. So here's the story. We kind of knew each other online. I think we were like in a Facebook group and we were commenting, and I was like, oh, I like her comments. Oh, she's smart, fun, sassy. It was the perfect combination for me. And then I was at Social Media Marketing World this year, and these ladies, if you can see, they're wearing green. So the very first session, it might be their brand color. The very first session, it was Duncan, right? We were, you guys were like in the first row, and I was sitting right behind them. And I was like, green, blonde hair, green, blonde hair. And my brain was like, tick, 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 tick. And I was like, I know you, right, Caitlin? I was like,
yep.
And I was like, how do I know you? And you put it together. You were like, oh, it's in a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So, and then
Caitlin, then I came and sat down, and Caitlin said, Mary's right there, Mary. And we're like, oh.
And I was like, what? You guys know who I am? I was like, I love it. So you guys, I just want to share that with you because it's so important that you can take your online relationships offline. So we met in person, and now look, they're on my show. So that's what happens with the beauty when you use social media the right way, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
So I'm super excited, and it looks like we're broadcasting on channels. I see LinkedIn is up. If you guys see me look over here, it's just because I'm looking at my phone. So if we have any comments or questions, I'm going to try to monitor that. Unfortunately, when I am restreaming, when I'm using Restream to go live on 5 channels, I can't see the comments on my laptop. So I promise, as do Caitlin and Amy, that they will go back in and answer your questions. And you guys, oh yeah, if you're watching the replay, #replay, let us know, and we'll go back in and engage with you. So you guys, I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started, because I love that story, and then who you serve. So take it away.
So Amy and I met on Instagram 5 years ago, right? Yeah. So we were being social on social. What a concept.
Yeah. Yes, we were using it to build relationships and make connections.
Mm-hmm. So when we got together, we had an introduction. We had all these great ideas for how to use social media to build a community. Mm-hmm. And then that's what we've done. We created 2 micro influencer accounts, Simply Santa Fe NM and Travel New Mexico, which now have grown to be not so little. We've got 35,000 and 50,000 followers.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And more importantly, I mean, the followers are great, but more importantly, they're very active and engaged communities. Right. And so there's actual connection happening within these platforms.
It's so important. We were just talking before the show, you guys, that it's not about having 10,000 followers. Right. It's about having an engaged community. So if all you had were 500 people, maybe in your private Facebook group, but they were an engaged group, that's so much more valuable than that bigger number. So I love it. Why you do have big groups, that you've grown these, right? Yes. But that you pointed out that they're engaged, they're active. Yes. So important.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've built those communities. And now.
Wait, I want to back up. So you guys met and then you just built the communities, or just brainstormed? Did you go to coffee? You're like, did you each have your own businesses and you came together? Like, what's that backstory?
Sure. Backstory's fun. Caitlin is a professional photographer in addition to being a co-owner, founder of our company. And at the time, obviously we weren't a company yet. I was a stay-at-home mom whose youngest had just entered kindergarten. And so it was time for me to figure out next steps and next chapters. I happened to be hiking a lot. I was taking advantage of that last year before I had to commit to work. Caitlin was looking for locations to take her portrait photography clients. So that's sort of how we ended up connecting. She asked if I would take her up to a place. And I said, well, I'm not a professional photographer. I don't know. I'm also considerably older than her. So, I was feeling a little timid and shy about it. And she just put me at ease. She's like, I don't care. I just want to hang out and get to know you. And so we did. And we went for a hike. And literally during that hike, it was like a 3-hour hike. And we just had like all of these ideas. And it was like, yes, 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 yes. And
so the moral of the story is get out there and get some exercise. And you don't know what's going to come. I love hiking. So when people say to me, hey, Mary, want to get together for coffee? I want to brainstorm. I'm like, walk and talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
We still have talk or hike and chat, but I'm like, if you really want to hang out with me, say, hey, Mary, let's go for a walk and talk business. I'm in.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. We still have some of our best ideas, or if we're stuck, we're like, all right, get out of the office.
I love that. Yeah. So then you guys formed this entity and launched Simply Social Media.
Yeah. So we created Simply Santa Fe NM on Instagram and started building up that community, which just exploded.
Oh, yes.
It actually took us by surprise. We had met, it was right before Christmas, and we had sort of come up with the concept, and we're like, okay, we'll do a soft launch. We each had holiday plans. Like when we get back from holiday in the new year, we'll really start this. But a couple of influencers in the community picked up on it right away, and it just exploded. Yeah. And so we ended up doing Christmas campaigns and holiday things and a photo contest. We're like, oh my gosh, we have to take advantage. I mean, it wasn't ideal, but we took advantage. And also at that time, Instagram had not placed algorithms on the platform. So it was much easier to grow an account. So we really did get in at a very opportune time. Yeah. And in Santa Fe, we already have a very local centric community here. So it was really taking what was happening in real life and putting it online. And the locals were hungry for it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So it was just perfect timing that we met and that it happened like it did. Everyone was ready for it.
I love the backstory.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to see how businesses and relationships can just come together and you can collaborate. We don't always have to do this entrepreneur thing by ourselves. Right. Sometimes, I think it's better partnering up.
Oh yeah.
So I love the backstory.
We could not do this without each other.
I'm looking forward to 2020 is going to be my year of collaboration. I've got 3 people that want to collaborate on things, and I'm like, okay, I think that's going to be my limit. I don't know how much collaboration I can do, but I love that. So thank you so much for sharing your journey. Hopefully that'll inspire some others. If you've got an idea, I feel like we were talking before the show that coming together with other people, just the synergy. And when the synergy is right, it just makes for stronger. I think you can bounce ideas off of. And like, I'm not great with graphics, but my girl, Mary Rose, we're LinkedIn local co-hosts together. She's my marketing, like, graphic person. So she's amazing at that. I'm the connector.
Yeah.
Right.
You play to your strengths.
Yeah. Play to your strengths.
Absolutely.
So you guys, let's dive into what we made the show about, and that is micro influencers. And I think we need to start with the definition of what a micro influencer is and what do they look like? Where do we find them?
We believe that everyone is a micro influencer.
So I was right. I am a micro influencer.
Yes. You won the prize.
Yes.
Betty, the balloons.
I feel it, yeah. So I'm a micro influencer. You guys are micro influencers. People in our Facebook groups or our LinkedIn community.
Yes.
Instagram.
Everyone influences someone. Word of mouth has been obviously one way to market, a very strong way to market throughout the history of marketing.
Right.
Just that now we're doing it on social media. So neighbors aren't talking to each other necessarily over the fence in the backyard anymore.
Actually, I talked to my neighbor over the fence. She just came in. She just came in to pick up her chocolate covered strawberries from my event last night and some flowers. I'm like, I've got my live show. You've got keys. Just come in and help yourself. Just saying, talk to your neighbors.
Talk to your neighbors. Definitely still talk to your neighbors. But it's more about the analogy of this is where we're having those conversations now is online, and we're talking to each other and recommending places and sharing experiences that have influence on other people.
And it's that factor of, so I'm huge into this. And sometimes it gets me into trouble. I spend too much money because my girl, Stephanie Lou, if she says like, buy this tripod or get this camera or program, I'm like, well, Stephanie said I need this to do my show. It'll make it better. Or Mary Rose or Amy, any of those people in my community, like when they say, hey, okay, so Ecamm, StreamYard, Restream, all of these things. It's like, because someone I know, like, and trust and has credibility with me, right? They're sharing these products or services. And I'm like, oh, that works for them. Let me buy it.
Yep. Yes, exactly. And you've already developed those relationships. So you trust that person.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
There's definitely a factor of trust with micro influencers that really makes that type of marketing or PR campaign very effective.
Sweet. So we're all micro influencers. That's great. So do I just reach out to everybody in my network and say, hey, sell my program, or like, right? No. So how do I, so like, let's clarify that.
Right. Sure. So, there's also a lot of different definitions about sizes of micro, macro, nano. There's not a super clear consensus. Right, it's kind of between 1,000 and 100,000 could be micro, macro,
which is just such a large range. It's more
for someone who doesn't do math, that doesn't seem right. Micro to macro, that's a huge gap. Excuse me. So
I think for us, and the point of me saying that is that it's really not about the numbers necessarily when we connect with and utilize micro influencers in campaigns for clients. What we're looking for are a couple of things. If that person has a niche that would be right for that client. So we work with the Santa Fe Opera. We also work with Sunrise Spring Spa and Resort. Those might not necessarily be the same influencers, or they might. It's really about looking for that niche, but also, and most importantly to us, is their ability to create conversation. So they could have 500 followers, but if they are engaging and people are engaging back with them and there's tons of comments on their posts, that is so much more important to us than someone with 10,000 and almost no engagement.
I agree 100%. So you're talking, so Marian, hey, Matt, you joined us. So I need to say hi to a couple people. Marian, San Diego, she's in the photography industry. I've hired her. She has an amazing photo booth. Matt is here in San Diego. I just saw him at our event last night. Matt is a local printer and saves my butt many times. So thanks for joining us. So we're talking about micro influencers and that everybody is a micro influencer in some way. So that doesn't mean that everybody in my network should be a micro influencer? And I'm hearing feedback. Do you guys hear feedback? It's just in my head. In yours. So you guys work with a lot of storefronts or physical locations, right? With the micro influencers, someone who is service based, right? How can you also have micro influencers for the coaches, consultants, graphic designers? Like I have a lot of graphic designers, coaches, and consultants in my group. So do we also have micro influencers, and how would that work?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well, everyone in your group is a micro influencer, right? You're all talking and you're connecting and you're influencing each other and helping each other, supporting, collaborating.
Okay. Yeah. So then what is, how do we identify the right ones to work with, and what are the steps to identifying them? And then can you walk us through like a mini process of what you guys do with your micro influencers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we always, before we work with somebody, we establish a relationship with them.
Yeah.
We get to know them, really what they're about, what they're like. We also just love working with people that love what they're doing, right? People that love to have the community like we do on Instagram and connect with their followers and really just be open and honest and tell a great story. And so if somebody is already doing that just organically, that just makes them the perfect fit to be someone that we work with.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. I mean, influencer marketing is not a magic silver bullet. It's taken Caitlin and I 5 years of constant and consistent engagement and community building. And really, it's all about the relationship. So we really know almost all of our micro influencers that we work with personally beforehand. I can only think of a couple of instances where we reached out to people without having known them and established a relationship before. That way you really know what you're getting into. So, you start by looking through geotags, through hashtags. We're very local and regional associated. So we look through a lot of those hashtags that are associated and geotags with our local region. And then we just start commenting and we just start talking to people. And then you get the feel of people, and then you move that conversation into the DMs. And then that's where it's like sitting down for coffee is the DM, you're shaking hands in the comment section, and then, you go to coffee in the DMs. And so, we've really just built up real and authentic relationships.
Yeah. So you mentioned hashtags, and we know Instagram hashtag mania, right?
Yes.
I feel like Twitter and Instagram made hashtags what they are today, but LinkedIn also has hashtags. And so people are following, you can search by hashtags. So when you say that you search hashtags, and I know Instagram is really your platform, that's your number one platform. And I like Instagram to look at pictures. Yep. That's what I use it for, to look at pictures. I think that next year I might incorporate Instagram into my marketing efforts more. But so hashtags, so you look at hashtags that are relevant and pop in and are hot. So I could do that on LinkedIn. And then when I go to that hashtag, like LinkedIn Live, that hashtag LinkedIn Live is hot right now because not everybody has access to it, right? We're like, who's on? Who's got a show? So when I go to that hashtag and see who's following that hashtag and who might
who's posting on that hashtag, using that hashtag in their posts, and then once you feel you don't have to engage with everyone who uses the hashtag, right? You certainly can be selective.
I would look at their profile and see, is that a good match? Like maybe it's a video marketer, right? They do video marketing, but maybe their clients need help with their LinkedIn profile. So maybe we could collaborate and maybe.
Yes. Yeah. So you really it's time. You have to spend time looking through those things, looking at people's bios, thinking about how you could potentially work together and collaborate and just building that relationship.
But it's worse. I always tell people like LinkedIn you're in it for the long game. It's not a short game. So if we go to sports, it's not the basketball run down, make a hoop, right?
Right.
LinkedIn is, you're in it for the long game. You're in it for, building your network, establishing your credibility. And then those potential leads, they could come in. I had a woman, it took her a year. She reached out to me. She's like, oh, I don't think so. Not right now. Okay, fine. A year later, she's like, okay, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's that long game. And that's what LinkedIn is about. So I feel like this micro influencer, it's something that you set up,
Yes.
right? And it's something that you continually work on.
And continually work on. Yes.
To have new micro influencers coming in.
Yes.
So when someone wants to work with you, like, what does that look like? Like, hey, Amy, Caitlin, I want to find 3 micro influencers to promote my brand. What do we do? Like, just some basic steps.
Sure.
Yeah. So the first thing that we do is we talk about their goals. So why do they want to work with influencers? Because it's a buzzword, or
Right.
is it something that is going to get them to the goals that they're trying to reach?
Right.
So that's the number one thing. And then kind of breaking it down from there based on their goals, who they're trying to talk to, what type of influencer, what they have to offer that influencer.
Yeah, that's really important component of it.
Yep.
So, we tend to get our clients to go in the direction of offering a very exclusive opportunity, whether it's behind the scenes or it's specially, created for them. It is really important to honor that influencer really with a special opportunity. So they will then in turn, promote what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Influencer versus affiliate. Can they be the same? Are they same? Can you offer a percentage back, or like, is that different, or does the micro influencer become your affiliate too?
I think you could, yes,
it can
all
work
of
the
it,
same.
all of it.
Okay.
And you can determine how to do that. Yeah. We don't work with an affiliate program through our micro influencer marketing, but that certainly does not mean that other people cannot.
Right.
I think what's so exciting about this type of marketing is that there really aren't a ton of rules besides FTC guidelines. So you can be really creative in how you work with people.
Okay.
We tend to work with micro influencers in groups. And so they can be large groups, small groups, but because we have built a community, we have found that people like to gather in community. So we have this online community, and then we bring them offline to gather IRL. And so we've had a lot of success. They're called Insta Meets. We did not invent them. That's an Instagram invented event.
I was like, who created the Insta Meets? Because we do.
Instagram did it.
Of course they did. Insta
They've
Meets.
been very community minded from the beginning of their
Okay.
Yeah. What we did is we took that concept and we applied it on a commercial basis. And so creating these events for clients, and then the micro influencers have a chance to have that opportunity of whatever it is that client is offering.
I love it. I love it. So I'm so glad that I now can confirm that I'm a micro influencer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whoever is watching this, I want to know, are you a micro influencer for me? Do you want to be? No, I'm just kidding. I really like that because it's all about getting to know your audience.
Yeah.
Getting to know your network, who's in your network. It doesn't always have to be someone who's buying something from you, right? It doesn't always have to be a client. It can just be someone who really likes your brand. They might not need your services, but they really like what you stand for. Yeah. And they really like what you offer. So they might want to help you out. So Christine Gritman joined us. She says, love all 3 of these totes amazeballs, ladies. Thank you, Christine. I'm so excited to see you tonight because she's in San Diego.
Yes. San Diego's a hot spot right now.
It certainly is. So anyone who's watching that you're not from San Diego and you come to San Diego and want to have coffee and walks with me or lunch, please let me know. I'm all about meeting my online network in real life. So let's just recap what a micro influencer is, how do you find them, and how you start working with them. And then how do you measure the ROI? Did we go over that? I don't think we went over the ROI.
We haven't talked about ROI.
Let's talk about that because that's kind of important when you're running a business.
It is.
Yeah.
There's several different ways.
There are. So we, because we work primarily with Instagram, we use hashtags as a way to track analytics. And so we will ask all of our influencers to use one specific hashtag primarily, and then a couple other ones that are associated with it. And we track that.
We have an event hashtag.
Yeah. We use a service called hash tracking. And so what that's able to do is it tracks the the impressions, the reach, the likes, the comments, all of those that are associated with the posts that are published on Instagram. And we provide all that data to our client, as well as information like if they've ever been to that location before, if they've ever tried a service, age, location, things like that.
Yeah, when people sign up for our events, in order to register for a ticket, they do have to go through like a mini survey process. So we can provide that data to our client as well.
So basically, right now this works really well on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Can it work on Facebook? Do you know? I'm curious.
It's hard with Facebook because there's so many different privacy levels, and there's not really a way to track that specifically unless you ask your influencer to do their own reporting and give you
which is certainly a way to go about it. And so when we do smaller and more exclusive events, we're working with a spa in town, and we're doing weekend, we're calling them Insta retreats. We have them sign a
Those are those posts I saw where I'm like, I need to be there. That got my attention. I was like,
yes,
please. Okay,
so that's it. You know, we have a kind of a more of a commitment from the influencers that come to those events. So they have to sign an agreement about number of posts. And we'll often ask them for their analytics because most of them either have a business or creator account. And, you know, getting that information from them is also helpful to the client.
So it works really well on Instagram because the hashtags and the hash tracking, is that what it's called?
That's the program.
And so we were talking about this earlier about LinkedIn, like how would that work? And we're not quite sure how or if. So I'm going to do a little research on that. You know, LinkedIn's always late to the game. Let's be real and honest. I love LinkedIn. It is my platform of choice, but they're late to the game for the live and the hashtags, and that's okay. That just means that, you know, they like to perfect it, and they do want to keep LinkedIn very clean as far as, you know, it's networking and businesses. And that's why I love it. Right. I go to Facebook for fun stuff, and in Instagram, I go for pictures, Instagram and Pinterest, but I think every platform has its purpose, right? Yeah. I think every platform is unique and it serves the right audience where your audience is. So right now this works really well on Instagram. So if I wanted to find micro influencers, I have an Instagram account. I post some things. I don't engage. That's the problem. Right? So I'm not the ideal client because I don't engage on Instagram, and I don't have an engaging audience because I don't engage.
But if we could track the LinkedIn hashtag, then you would certainly be, you know, that micro influencer because you're so engaged on LinkedIn.
I am. And do you suggest, do you use a popular hashtag or do you use your own? So I have LI Connectors. It stands for LinkedIn Connectors. My group members created that. They're like, we want to be called Connectors, right? Everybody has a Facebook group, and they're like, your members are called, you know, in whatever they're called. Everyone has their name. So mine, I asked them, what should you call everybody here? So they came up with Connectors. So we have our own hashtag that we use on LinkedIn because you can search that and then you can find all the posts. So do you feel that people should, like, if they're just thinking about this for 2020, maybe this is a marketing strategy, should they create their own hashtag and start a following there? Should they only use hashtags that everybody else knows of, or a combination?
A combination for sure.
I mean, you should have a branded hashtag. You should always use your branded hashtag, right? Your business name. If we're talking about it being a business or organization. But then, you need to use a combination of location hashtags, industry hashtags, then the mashup of industry location hashtags.
Fabulous.
You know, and it is a constant process of always looking out to see what other people are using, to see where
new hashtags like LinkedIn Live is new. That wasn't around last year. That wasn't around until March this year.
I mean, it's always changing everywhere. So you kind of have to stay on top of how that works. But again, it really just all goes back to that engagement and talking to people.
So what I'm hearing again, folks, that I keep saying is engage with your audience, know your audience. Don't just build a following to have a following. You want people that are going to become your micro influencers. right? So you want people that are going to engage in your groups, because I have a small group by standards. My private Facebook group is only like 350 people because I only opened it to clients after being in business I only started it a couple years ago.
Mhm.
And at first it was only for my clients. Like I didn't want anybody else in there.
Right.
Like I was like, no, I don't want all weird people. And now I have a process, like they still have to answer questions.
Right.
And if they don't answer them, I'm like, sorry, you're not getting in. So I have a very small group, but it is engaging.
Good.
Yeah, that's the gold. That's the holy grail of social media. Definitely. I mean, I think just in terms of what you want it to be, like, don't you want to, isn't that how you want to spend your time, right? Like, that's what I like to do offline. Why wouldn't I want to do that online?
Exactly.
Well?
That's another great point. So I'm always preaching you should be online who you are offline.
Exactly.
I shouldn't meet you and you be totally different.
Right.
Not only like looks, right? So some people need to update their LinkedIn profile photos. You are women. I know we never want to age, but we do. So be who you are and own it. But also just your tone and voice. I'm very casual and conversational, fun and informative. Those are 4 words that I use to describe my brand. Now, if I showed up and I was all prim and proper, right? You'd be like, where's Mary? Right? So I'm always like, you need to be who you are online, who you are offline. It should be the same person. You shouldn't have 2 personas.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much for joining. Is there anything else? Do you want to do a recap, like hashtags? And I'm trying to go through the steps. Like, and find your hashtags. It works really well on Instagram. That's probably where you should start if you want it to.
80%, 80 some percent of influencer marketing is run through Instagram right now. Yeah.
There you go, folks.
Pretty dominated by Instagram, just because it's really set up for
because the platform is set up for that.
It really is set up. It's very ideal for it.
I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely going to have to look at Instagram for 2020, which means I have to engage.
You have to engage. Yeah. It's fun. It's so fun. We love Instagram.
I love it. It's a time thing. Like I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn.
Yeah. It's time. I mean, you have to prioritize your time. That's for sure. Yeah. So, let's figure out how to track those LinkedIn hashtags.
Figure that out. Let's do it.
Time spent on LinkedIn. Yeah.
I love it. Anything else that you guys want to add in? And also I want you guys to share where people should find you. I'm going to guess Instagram.
Definitely Instagram. I think one thing I just want to really kind of reiterate is just this idea of relationship building. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many people are doing amazing things around relationship marketing. This is what it is. It's all about those relationships, and they can be very long-term relationships. I mean, we've been working with some clients now for 5 years doing marketing with them, and vice versa. I mean, so we have the clients that we're working with, but then we also have the micro influencers who we're working with. So we've known people for 5 years now who are still coming to our events and who are now not only our biggest brand, advocates, but also for our clients. And so these are really deep relationships that you can build. They're not all like that. I mean, we certainly have had some come and go. Mm-hmm. It's reflective of real life. But yeah, it's really just all about the relationships and putting that time into creating them. Mm-hmm. And then hashtags. Of course. Mm-hmm. Hashtags are important.
So relationships, hashtags, get a strategy. Instagram is the platform of where you would start this. Yeah. This is where it works best.
Right.
Because I don't want to say it won't work anywhere else, because as soon as I say that, someone will say, well, I did it over on this platform.
Oh,
but Instagram is the platform that is designed for this to work. So if you want to start getting micro influencers, creating a strategy about how you're going to use micro influencers.
Yeah, that's really important, is to start with your objectives. So a lot of clients hire us because, one, they're looking for a younger demo, which is typically Instagram. They're looking for new people to walk into their brick and mortar location. Also, there is a ton of user-generated content that can be created through influencers. Yes. So not only are they promoting your place on their platforms, you can then turn around and use all of those images on your own. So we're all like struggling, searching for content all the time. Yes. So this is a great
And UGC, user generated content. It was like the hot topic at Social Media Day San Diego this year. And it's been a hot topic all year at all the social media conferences, right? I'm always reading articles and seeing blogs and posts about UGC. And that's something that I think Instagram does really well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's just really a platform that's set up
Designed for that.
to create and utilize that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So I really like that. I'm really going to have to look into Instagram in 2020. Maybe reach out to you guys. We're going to have to see how we can, that LinkedIn hashtag or LinkedIn Live. Maybe that's an opportunity. So you guys, I just want you to all, I like to bring new, exciting, not only people to this show, but new tips and things to think about outside of our box. Because as entrepreneurs and small business owners, a lot of times we just do what we know works, but there's so much more out there. And how do you find out and how do you learn? So today, Amy and Caitlin have come on to share micro influencers and how to make that work for you. You guys, so what's your handle, or how do you want people to reach out if they have questions?
Yeah,
sure.
So you can find us on social. We're at Simply Social NM for New Mexico. And then our website is simplysocialmediann.com.
I love it. You guys, thank you so much for taking the time. And you guys know my platform. It's LinkedIn. And I just launched the Entrepreneur's Guide to LinkedIn, how to turn your LinkedIn profile into a lead magnet. Remember, you can wake up to leads every day if you set up your profile right and have a content strategy. So during this course, it's a do-it-yourself course, but the beauty of this course, because I don't want to just give you like a course to do with some amazing templates and videos and then leave you hanging. The best part of the course is that you get me once a week live to answer your questions, break down those walls, and get the process going so that in a short 6 weeks, you are mastering LinkedIn. And I promise to keep you up to date with any new changes and updates. So we'll do that live.
Mentioning Kayla might want to take that course.
You might. It's awesome. It's been tested by several, we had a few hundred people go through it and test it, work out the kinks, because I wanted to make sure I was providing something, not just another online course that you sit and look at PowerPoints.
Right.
To me, that's boring, and I have to do things. So there's like action that you have to take.
Yeah.
And there's
accountability.
And tutorial videos. And once a week, we jump in the private Facebook group, and if there's only 6 people, then guess what? You each get some of my time. And
that's
such a great deal. So if that's something that you're looking for, I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link in the notes, but you can also go to my website, maryfainbrandt.com, and you can check out both courses I have there. There's a job seeker course that we're going to update and have some amazing things there, because we know that LinkedIn is also known for the job seeker platform of choice. But my mission is to help entrepreneurs and small businesses stand out in the sea of sameness on LinkedIn. And then you guys, last but not least, join me on Monday mornings at 7 a.m. for 7 minutes of motivation. Just something to get you going for the week. Maybe it's goal setting. Maybe it's overcoming fear. You never know. So join me Mondays at 7 a.m. Caitlin, Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. I love the green. I will always I'm just going to look for you guys in green, and I'm going to see you next week, right?
Yeah, we can't wait. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
We really appreciate being able to talk about this with your audience.
Thank you for coming on. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you online. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.